Well, welcome. Today we're going to be presenting solving eBay seller efficiency problems with open eBay apps. So I'm thrilled to be here to tell you about this amazing developer opportunity to serve our sellers. I am Tina Mazzei. I'm the program manager for the eBay Developers Program, and I am, if you will, the mad mastermind architect, if you will, behind the program and processes, so business side of things. And my colleague here, Anand, if he could introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Anand Gangadharan. I'm a product manager within the platforms organization within eBay, and I work very closely with Tina to put together the product side of Open eBay, the features and functions and the APIs.
So all technical questions, please ask Anand. But what I will be covering with you guys is introduction to Open eBay apps, the opportunity. Anand will cover the technical overview and then wrap up with the resources that you will need in order to develop on this particular opportunity. So what I'd like to start with is a quote from Piero Midyar, who is the founder of eBay Marketplaces. And just take a couple of seconds to get that soaked in. What I find compelling about this quote is 15 years ago, when we started this company, he knew that developers would take our marketplace in directions that we never dreamed of. He knew, and we know today, that it is you that help us expand to our customers and create vibrant, diverse, rich communities of buyers and sellers throughout the entire world. So our history. Although eBay started 15 years ago, our developers program and opening, if you will, our platform via APIs to you guys just happened 10 years ago. We are now 120,000 developers strong with 11,000 active applications. Many of those are independent businesses running, expanding our platform, driving enterprise level all the way to individual mom and pop stores and individuals just simply trying to monetize on our distribution channel, highlighting different listings that are on the site, all via the API. These are but a few companies that have taken advantage, again, of the 11,000. So what we provide within the developers program are over 125 data APIs. They're very robust. They're open. You can use REST style, SOAP, XML, so a lot of options. But I think what's incredibly compelling is over 6 billion calls per month. That's hundreds of millions of calls per day that flow through our system. Not only do you use the APIs, we use the APIs. We're very dedicated to make sure that they are solid for all of us. We also have very rich documentation and code samples to help make this easier for you to integrate with our system. Almost anything that you can do on eBay.com, you can do via the APIs as well. You have a choice of SDKs. We have PHP, Flash, Flex, Java, JavaScript, and .NET. There we go. We've redesigned the site so it won't look exactly like this. It's a little more cool. It's a little more modern, which is awesome. This happens to be an older slide, but it'll still be developer.ebay.com. If you go to developer.ebay.com, you'll be able to access everything that I just talked about. So let's take it a step further and really talk about the seller opportunity, because when you look at Open eBay apps, what really is compelling about it is really helping our sellers throughout the world. Initially, the Open eBay apps opportunity is right here in the United States, and we'll be expanding internationally shortly. So when you look at a seller supply chain, sorry about that, meant this button. We go all the way through the workflow. So APIs actually support this entire chain, anywhere from sourcing, through managing inventory, listings, shipping, all the way through taxes and profit and loss. A lot of people have built, in order to solve the seller pain points, applications that have to do with data marketing, market research, product sourcing, shipping solution CRM tools, also, again, marketing, merchandising, all the way through finance and accounting. We have APIs that support all of that, and when you build an Open eBay app, which is embedded right inside My eBay, where sellers do their business every single day, you can take advantage of all of this. Okay? So In 2009, we created an opportunity, as I talked about before, where you can embed your applications right on my eBay, where people do business, sellers do business every single day. So this right here is eBay.com. This is my eBay. This is where they come to do their activity, messaging, accounting, and this applications tab, that's right where your application lives. They don't have to go anywhere else. That's what's so compelling about this. And they don't have to sign on anywhere else. They have a trusted experience right here. And these are but a few companies that have already taken advantage of this particular opportunity. And there's room for more. All right. So we also, with the launch of this technology, embedded opportunity, we launched the App Store. We call it the App Center. It's a trusted seller tools marketplace where you advertise what you have to provide to sellers. We consider it a win-win-win situation. The reason why I say that, it's a true win for eBay sellers because they can access applications which help them grow their business in a seamless, trusted, vetted way. For eBay wins, it's a win-win situation for eBay because we can take advantage of things that we don't have necessarily the talent or time for or vision for because it's your creativity that has decided that, hey, here's a pain point for a seller. I know how to solve it. I'm going to go ahead and build that out. Our time to market is much quicker with you. And again, you take eBay in directions we'd never dream of and satisfy and delight our customers, which is awesome. For you as a developer, we create a monetization opportunity. And to get closer or further into that monetization opportunity, let me talk about these three key elements. Customers. We bring the customers to you. They don't go anywhere else. We have, right now, over 2.5 million sellers that come to my eBay on a regular basis to do their selling activity. The App Center is right on where they go every day. There's several links within eBay that take you to the App Center, as well as we have marketing placements throughout eBay.com. And we plan on doing the same thing on our other properties, other marketplaces around the world. Monetization, we've built the billing platform so you don't have to. Essentially, we've done some heavy lifting. We integrate the subscription all the way through the PayPal flow. Adaptive payments is what we're using, and it makes it seamless for the subscriber. They're used to eBay, they trust eBay, they go through a flow on eBay, they pay through eBay. Simple. It's flexible for you guys in that we have a lot of different types of ways you can monetize. You can do a subscription, whether it be monthly or annually. You can do usage-based. You can do real-time hard cost being paid so you don't have to wait, say it's postage or something like that. Or you can be paid per incremental action that an individual does. Like say they use 10 listing templates. They can use 10 for free, but once they use between 10 and 20, you charge them a very small amount of money. That's real-time. You can charge that, and they get billed through eBay. Okay? We handle the invoicing and payment processing. Technology-wise, we've built on the Google Gadget Framework. It's not called that anymore. I think it's, this is old school for me. I think it's Open Social Gadget Framework. Thank you. And essentially, it's an open standard, so you can build once and actually deploy several different places. Anand will get a little bit more into that. You can build a native or self-hosted application. We have events that go outbound to try to help you understand what's happening with your customer and the activities that they're doing. And lastly, which I think is the most compelling, is this authentication and single sign-on. From a consumer perspective, again, they don't go anywhere else. They sign on to eBay. That's it. They subscribe to your application. They invoke your application. No going off somewhere else. They use, and again, trusted, vetted experience right on eBay.com, single sign-on, don't have to remember anything else. Absolutely frictionless in that respect, right? So with that, I want to have Anand come up and talk a little bit more about the technology side and what it looks like to integrate with this particular opportunity.
Thank you, Tina.
You bet.
How many of you are familiar with eBay APIs? Just already about half of a small crowd. I do want to recap some of the highlights of what Tina captured in this slide, which I think is very important. Those are the first principles of how we designed this program. When you have a choice of platform to develop on, typically entrepreneurs look for 2 or 3 things. A, what is the appeal of the platform? What is the addressable marketplace? B, what sort of things that the platform does for you? And C, do I have to learn something new to integrate with that platform, right? Regarding customers, we bring the entire seller base to you as customers. We market the apps to you. On the things we would do on your behalf, we think we do the hard part of dealing with the friction that usually occurs at the time of a purchase, which is the aspect of payment instruments, subscriptions, billing, etc. And in terms of technology, we stuck to open technologies that are proposed industry-wide or by really prominent vendors. So you don't have to learn anything new. Your investment in whatever you have in your engineering environment completely is transferable, and so on. The basic technology component is the open social spec. Our eBay page is an open gadget container, which essentially means that your applications become a open eBay gadget, a la open social gadget. Think of iGoogle, which is an implementation of open social container as well. If you develop your application as little gadgets, it is conceivable that you can take the gadgets that you built for Open eBay into other containers such as iGoogle as you see fit, as your customers see fit. It is also possible in the future, this is hypothetical at this time, that other sellers, ISVs that build value on top of eBay could expand their tools to support the gadget spec as well. So your applications that you build for Open eBay will work on Open eBay, could work on other containers that are already out there, and possibly future containers that are more specific to the eBay seller business. There are 2 options to building a Open eBay app or a gadget in the standard speak. One is a self-hosted option where the application is completely hosted by you. You simply provide us with a URL that we would use to interact with your application. And that is fairly straightforward from an implementation standpoint because you don't really change your application. There might be some cosmetic changes so that it fits well within the eBay container that we have. And there are some screen width requirements because eBay pages are designed for a certain page width, etc. But structurally, your application remains largely the same. You would have to make minor tweaks on the presentation side. You would have to take care of a couple of things per the gadget spec, and that's to do with resizing of the screen, the ability to read and write preferences that your customer has with your application via the gadget API, and of course accept the credentials that we would pass to you as the credentials for your application. Tina talked about single sign-on being a critical part of removing the complexity in the user experience of our sellers. So those are 3 elements that you need to factor in. The first 2 you would anyway do if you were to make it a open social compatible gadget. The last bit is specific to eBay, but I think you would see the benefit of providing a seamless experience navigating between applications. The way you would go about rendering your application is pretty simple as well. We would invoke you with some information about the context of the application, such as the seller information and anything related to that. You would process that and render the application. Right? So typical web application in an iframe. The other option is to build something called a native app, where all the content is provided to us upfront. We don't refer to software that's on your site. And that has the benefit of us hosting the HTML and JavaScript that's necessary for rendering the application. You don't have to be responsible for the uptime of those components. You have access to all the data elements that you're used to in your native application, depending on how data intensive that is, that may or may not work. If it is a simple mashup of eBay data with some other data, a native app works. But if it's data intensive, where you churn out a lot of information and package it into a nice presentation, a native option may not work for you. Most of the apps that we currently have in our App Center are self-hosted. Developers like the flexibility of changing it as often as they would like to address defects and minor enhancements. But we do think there is a place for native apps as well. What does it take to integrate with OpenEBay? There are 3 basic services. One to do with identity management. How do we exchange credentials between our 2 systems? The second piece is about the partner interface, participant interface. We'll talk a bit more later, and the subscription service. The first part is a necessary step in integrating any 2 systems, in this case OpenEBay and your application. We pass credentials such as a token, which essentially has information about who the seller is invoking your application at this time, and few additional information around it, so that you know that you can tailor your presentation for that particular seller based on their preferences. The participant interface has about half a dozen operations. You simply implement a web service, another industry standard, which implements these functions. And we would call you when interesting events happen on our side. When a new subscriber walks in and says, I want to use this app, we'll let you know. So you can do things such as provisioning a new account in your system to match the seller's need. When there are changes to the subscription, we'll let you know, and you can take action. And we will also pass you credentials that you could choose to store for subsequent usage. So that's the participant interface. It's a very simple interface. I think the names are self-explanatory about what they do and why you would need them. The second bit about the participant interface is what's your responsibility? We ask that when a request comes to your web service, that you authenticate that it's indeed coming from eBay and not from somebody else, and process the request based on the type of request and send a response with success or failure. The subscription service is a powerful set of utilities that is not required for the normal flow of operation of an OpenEBay application, but something that we urge you to integrate so that you can respond to your customers' inquiries very efficiently. It gives you access to the billing plans in force, the subscriber information, even to the point of an image of the statement that they would see, which has your subscription details that was used to charge that particular seller. It's a powerful set of capabilities that you would want to integrate with your tools so that you can efficiently handle billing and subscription-related questions for your customers. We have invested a lot of time and energy, and if anyone has been involved with billing and payment in your lives, you know how hard it is to do that. We think we have reduced the barrier for any entrepreneur to take advantage of this opportunity by providing you with a rich set of billing functions to make sure that you can run your business efficiently. And what do those applications do typically? First, they look at the seller's activity on eBay. They look at transactions, perhaps listings that are currently active, the type of buyers that purchase from that particular seller, various sorts of information that you can infer from data that we provide on behalf of the seller. Right? You can then enrich that data with lots of additional information that either lives in your system or other data sources on the internet. Various platform providers have their own APIs that you could choose to use to mash up the data and provide insight to the seller so that they can make good business decisions about where to spend their time. What is the average selling price? Am I doing better on cross-border trade or not? Is some country better for me to focus for a particular type of merchandise, and so on. So you can see the opportunity space is quite large when we start talking about the entire addressable seller base that operates on eBay. And as Tina pointed out, we can provide all the underpinnings of the marketplace dynamics, but we can't build specific tailored products that meet the diverse needs of all our eBay sellers. Here are a bunch of APIs we have had for a while. The ones in blue are authenticated APIs. In other words, the eBay user, in this case the seller, has to authorize your application to make calls on their behalf. And with OpeneBay, we make that process very seamless. We get the token for you, we pass the token to you, and you simply use the token to make the calls. The green boxes are APIs that allow you to access public data. We have applications that look at how the search efficiency is for a particular class of item. Sellers are often concerned about exposure of their inventory for eBay buyers. So they are constantly looking for ways for optimizing that. Think of it as SEO for eBay, right? Like you do SEO for other general purpose search engines. So there's opportunity there to provide insight and suggestions on how they can improve the visibility of their inventory on eBay. Now let's talk a bit about the opportunity again. We do a lot of heavy lifting for you. Right? It starts with bringing the right level of exposure to your idea. We are starting with 2.5 million sellers in the US to broaden to the rest of the world over time. We provide a subscription process that is drop dead simple. If a seller is interested in trying an app, with 2 to 3 clicks, they have a new app subscription, right? And during that process, we also exchange the information. We talked about the identity protocol as one of the 3 integration points. We pass you sufficient information about the seller so that you can provision your application appropriately. The area where we see a lot of drop-off in typical commerce or any purchase transaction is the aspect around payments and providing additional information that just makes the process a little bit harder for the buyer. We have simplified that dramatically where the seller doesn't have to share any information that they would have to do if it were not on eBay. They're on eBay, we know a lot about them, we ask them 2 or 3 questions and they're done. We handle billing for your application for each of the sellers. We provide a bunch of flexible options to price your application, a one-time fee or a per unit of time, monthly or quarterly or annual fee that you could charge. You can also offer usage-based subscription models. If you were to allow invoice generation, you could maybe charge $1 for every 10 invoices, for instance. Right? We provide all of that. We also do payment processing. Once the invoice is generated, the customer sees it, they pay it. Once we get the funds, we deposit the money in your PayPal account. Right? So we go through the entire process of exposure, the subscription process, billing, payment. All you have to do is wow the customers with a bright solution. Okay? And the way you would go about doing that, in our opinion, is to start with the data that the seller already has provided to eBay, either directly via the listings or indirectly via buyer actions on their listings. Take that data and figure out ways to reduce their operational cost of doing business on eBay. And that's the objective, right? For both our joint customers, they need to see tremendous value in using applications such as open eBay applications. Provide insight that they probably don't have today because it's difficult. Data is spread across multiple systems. A common complaint that we hear, and it's very valid, is it's very difficult for sellers to find out the total cost of goods of selling on eBay because the PayPal fees are kept separate from eBay fees, and combining them together becomes very valuable for most sellers. Right? So look for other ways that you can provide insight to sellers so that they can go on with selling and getting new merchandise as opposed to working with multiple systems to reconcile information. And the most important part is to be a very customer-centric provider of your application, as we believe that it's very important to have a good customer experience with the applications that we provide on Open eBay. We'll have ratings and reviews that will help reinforce this behavior on application providers. Where are we at this time? We are about a year into launching this product. There are 2.5 million subscribers that we have opened this to. I know we have repeated this a few times. We have 45 applications at this point in half a dozen categories. There are over 200,000 subscribers. We had a tremendous uptake in the last couple weeks, and over 300,000 subscriptions at this point, and it's growing very fast. Just goes to show that when there is momentum, the opportunity just explodes in some cases. We have had the benefit of seeing sellers beginning to subscribe to their fourth app very often these days. We're also seeing developers investing to expand their presence on Open eBay with their third and fourth app. All these good indications that this ecosystem is turning out to be well on the path to realizing its potential. So we think that this is a great opportunity for you to bring your expertise in your areas of experience that Tina talked about, from sourcing all the way to fulfillment, and bring it on to Open eBay so sellers can do their business in one place. At this time, I'd like to invite Tina back to the stage so we can talk about Q&A. Sorry, a bit early. Get started with very simple steps. There is a participation guideline, which is we believe is straightforward. It's a 2-pager of sorts. We go through a business readiness review to make sure that you realize the potential that we see in your app as well. We share the information we are aware of the possibilities that your app might hold for the seller base. We talk about certain aspects of expectations of uptime, responsiveness to customer issues, because they are our joint customers. It's our brand that is wrapping your application. From a customer point of view, we need to be sure that we each understand our responsibilities. Build your app and test in the sandbox. We have a fully functional sandbox environment that allows you to test your application completely, end to end. And you simply change one pointer to production, and you have a production app. So it's that simple. Billing plans, marketing stuff, very crucial pieces need to be set up before you go live. The marketing blurb is an area where some of our app developers don't spend enough time today. We work hard with them to make sure they understand the value of getting your value proposition in crisp, short text. And it's very crucial for our marketing campaigns. We have banner placements, little placements at various seller pages. We want that to be effective and convert well. And the last part is free. When you're all done, we go live, we agree on a date, and we turn it on. this time for real, could come on over. A couple of pieces of information, but just get started at developer.ebay.com. It's the easiest way to get started.
Any questions from anybody? It's really hard to see.
Over here, maybe. All right. Thank you for taking the time. Hope you enjoyed the entire conference. We have a eBay conference coming up in June. That's our cadence. We invite you to be part of our conference then.
It's going to be in the Bay Area.
Bay
I
Area.
believe it's the venue. We're still deciding on, but I think we've determined by the San Francisco airport. Yep, so we'll be right here in the Bay Area. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.